The Early Year Classic 10th anniversary running of the $3 Million Pegasus Stakes takes place on Saturday, January 24th at Gulfstream Park in Hallandale Beach, Florida. The highly regarded Eclipse Awards precede this event on Thursday night, January 22nd at the Breakers Resort in West Palm Beach, Florida. HorseDoc interviewed prominent insiders for multiple opinions, including their predicted race results and for coveted Horse of the Year honors. We will broadcast a two-part series of these important events. I'm here with trainer Todd Pletcher. Needs no introduction. Big Pegasus Stakes day coming up and three big races. Tell me a little bit about your horse, Captain Cook. You got him entered in here. I noticed that in the earlier stages of his career he did mile and an eighth and then recently more 7 furlongs. Why do you think you got a decent shot of being in this race?
We feel like he runs well fresh. He's had some success at multiple distance, including a mile and an eighth. You think the Gulfstream surface should suit him, and he's been training well. We've kind of been gearing up specifically for this race, and it appears to be kind of a wide open group this year.
Of course, a lot of the production right now is on White Abarrio, who won last year. Now you won in 22 with Life is Good, which is great. He hasn't raced in quite a while. As a trainer, is that a tremendous disadvantage? Some people are discounting him because he hasn't run recently.
Actually, I think it's an advantage. When you see a horse that you identify runs well with time between races, and so when you're gearing up for one specific race, you can kind of come in fully prepared. I think, I'd be more worried about. We'd considered running him in the Harlan's Holiday, but we felt like if he had a big performance in there and then we were coming back on 5 weeks rest, that he might not run as well as he will coming in completely fresh.
One of the other big horses in there, Skippy Longstocking, you've gone up against him in the past. He's kind of a hard knocker. He's done a lot, and he's got a pretty decent resume. Could you see him winning this race?
You gotta love horses like Skippy Longstocking. He's just been a veteran warrior and shows up time and time again, always runs well. So you always respect a horse like that, and given the right trip, he's certainly capable.
Switching gears a little bit, we got the Eclipse coming up, the Eclipse Awards. You got Baeza, Journalism, and Sovereignty. Now, you haven't trained any of them, but you've run against all of them. Do you forecast any particular winner? Do you have any, are you rooting for anyone? I know maybe you don't want to do that, but how do you see that shaping up?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward. Sovereignty will be champion 3-year-old and Horse of the Year. I think that's all pretty straightforward.
You're a mainstay here at South Florida Gulfstream Track. You've won multiple Florida Derbies, and you're touted as saying that the Pegasus is one of the best things that's happened in racing here in a while. What's so special about the Pegasus Stakes?
Well, it's a premier event early in the year. It's kind of the first big event in American racing. Big purse, older horses, horses that the fans are familiar with and have a rooting interest in. So, it's bringing together a collection of the best horses in the country and showcasing them early in the year.
Now, there's two other big races. There's a whole card that day of great races, but the two big races on the turf, and then the fillies and mares.
We just have Major Dude for the Pegasus turf. He ran in there last year, kind of had a trouble trip after an eventful start, and so kind of the same idea as we are with Captain Cook, bringing him fresh off a little bit of a layoff. He seems to run well like that, and he's a seasoned veteran that tends to show up and run well every time. So we're hoping for a big performance from him.
Eclipse and Future, you got two up-and-coming 3-year-olds that I've heard about. Ted Napi is up even for an Eclipse Award for his Breeders' Cup performance.
He's had a remarkable 2-year-old campaign. He went from a maiden to the hopeful to the Breeders' Futurity to the Breeders' Cup. Perfect 4-for-4, stretching out in distance, handled everything really well. Right now we're pointing for the Fountain of Youth to get his season underway. February 28th is the current goal. It's just a remarkable 2-year-old campaign.
You got a new up-and-coming potential superstar with Nearly. Just did super at Gulfstream.
Last 2 races have been very good. He kind of was green in his debut, bounced back with 2 big performances. Right now we're pointing him for the Holy Bull on January 31st, stretch him out in distance, and He's by a tremendously hot stallion, and not this time. That seems to just be getting runner after runner at multiple distances and surfaces, and so we like what we're seeing. We think he's a promising developing horse.
Is there any standout that I haven't mentioned coming up in the Eclipse Awards that you're really hoping gets the nod in one of the divisions?
Some of them are wide open. I think the older horse division's probably been the most controversial. Just you have Forever Young, who won the Breeders' Cup Classic. The question mark is, will they reward a horse that only had one start in North America? And you have Sierra Leone, who only had one win this year, but it was in the Whitney, and he was competitive all year. And then you have Nisos, who's the other finalist, had a Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile win, and we had a couple horses we thought would be potential candidates for the award with Mind Frame and Fierceness, who didn't make the cut. So I'd say that category is probably the most controversial this year.
We're here with Saffie Joseph Jr. getting ready for the big Pegasus Stakes. Got two horses entered, two superstars that have a potential to win. You've got White Abarrio, who has already won this once, and you also have Skippy Longstocking, who hasn't won the Pegasus but has been in a number of super races also.
White Abarrio obviously won last year with a big performance, and came back and won after that again. And after that, he didn't have the best year. After had a couple, obviously in the Jockey Club, the horse fell and bumped into him. He almost lost his rider, and then at the Breeders' Cup, he was scratching the post parade. So it's a bit unusual circumstance to come into a race going through all that. You obviously after the scratch, you have to make sure that everything's checked out and properly, and you cover every base and every stone, and we have, and we're 10 days out from the race, and we have one more work to go. Hopefully that goes well, and he has a good next 10 days into the race, and we feel like if he does, he goes there with a very good chance again.
A few of the professional handicappers said they're going to discount the horse because he's had so much time off, and this other very prominent trainer said sometimes that's a benefit. What do you think about your time off with a horse getting ready? Yeah,
it varies from circumstances to each. There's a lot of horses that run well fresh. Actually, he is a horse that runs well fresh. He's a horse that can come off very, very much layoffs and run well. We brought him off a layoff last year from May. It was from maybe June to November, and he won well in his comeback. So it was a different kind of class race because he were coming back in an allowance versus a grade one. But he hasn't really had time off for say where he was put down. He's always been moving active. His breed schedule was obviously interrupted because, as I said, you have to go through a horse's scratch. You have to make sure that you cover every base, do every diagnostic on him, have different veterinarians look at him, have different opinions, and make sure he passes all of that. So in that, the only thing that he's missing is probably had an interrupted breed schedule, barring the last couple of weeks where now we've had him on a steady work schedule. So it's a different kind of thing where he's never missed his gallops. Whereas some layoffs, you have horses they go to the farm or they stop training for 30-45 days, and he hasn't. So we're kind of hopeful that he is a horse that runs well fresh, and hopeful that he's able to do it.
Now your other horse, Skippy Longstocking, stablemate, different ownership, but this is a hard-knocking horse. He never won a grade one, but he's always been right close to it, and he's always won some impressive grade twos and threes. Tell me a little bit about him.
Yeah, he's definitely capable on the best day to win a grade one. Stephen Foster, year before, he probably should have won, not given the best ride on that day. He was third, but he didn't win. So that's the reality. He's still searching for his grade one. Coming off a bad run at Charleston, we gave him a little break, and he came back and he won the Harlan's Holiday, which is a good prep for this race. Feel like he's doing just as good, and he should move forward off the Harlan's Holiday because he was coming off a layoff where he was on the not on the tack for a little while. So feel like he should improve, and he's going to run in the Pegasus for the fourth year. I think that's an achievement just in his own right, just to show that he's stuck around that long at this level. And hey, look, on a day if he gets the right kind of trip, he's definitely capable of winning the Pegasus. Yeah, we have two horses in the Phillies turf in our time. She was second in California in the grade one last time, and she was third in this race actually last year. She comes in with a good chance. Irada rides her. She's a forward running filly on a course that normally favors speed, turf course, so she goes there with a deserving chance. Moving on up, was second in the prep, the Swanee River last time. She actually holds the course record time for the track, so we know she loves this course also, so she has a good chance as well.
Now the Eclipse Awards are coming up, and the three big superstars for Horse of the Year, at least older horse or 3-year-old champions, You got Sovereignty, Journalism, and Baeza. You got any thoughts about who's at the forefront?
Oh, that's for 3-year-old of the year. That's
Three-year-old.
Yeah. I mean, Sovereignty, obviously, he wins in a slam dunk. I mean, he had an amazing year. Bill Mott managed him correctly, and I mean, obviously they skipped the Preakness. That would always be a question, but how could he question perfection? And that's what he was basically after that. So, super horse. Seen him run over during the Florida Derby and the Florida Series, the preps for the Kentucky Derby, and I thought he was a horse that fit the Derby profile, and he went on off to prove more than that. Unfortunately, he had a scratch in the Breeders' Cup, so everybody got to miss how good he was. But I mean, he showed he was definitely the best 3-year-old by far last year. I mean, in 25.
And what do you think about Horse of the Year? Do you think he's definitely in the
Yeah, I mean, Horse of the Year, you definitely have to put him. I mean, you check out the older horses, basically. Horse of the Year should be who creates the most, you want to say, I'm trying to think of the right word, persona in racing and outside of racing. And it's definitely Sovereignty. I mean, you got see early on, obviously had a capable year, but he win one Grade 1, and then you have Forever Young, who actually, if you're thinking Horse of the Year in the world, he'll be Horse of the Year in the world, because what he's accomplished, I mean, not many horses could accomplish. He's been to America a couple of times. He's been to the Derby, Breeders' Cup, and he won the Saudi Cup. So if you want to say Horse of the Year in the world, it's Forever Young, but Horse of the Year in America, it's kind of hard to give him only one race. I mean, if you're going to encourage that, then you're going to open a can of worms for horses. So I think Sovereignty overall should probably get Horse of the Year.
Well, thank you for everything, and it's a tribute that you got 2 7-year-olds actually still competing and going strong, and you got a good shot.
Yeah, I run it. We've had them from 2-year-olds, and obviously at Abarrio we didn't have a period, and he came back to us. So grateful to have these kind of horses, and they are getting towards the career where you would say, like, how much more is there to go. I mean, so you have to enjoy it while it's here. And as I said, two special horses that would always be a part of my whole career for the rest of my life.
I'm here with Mark Cornett, C2 Racing, owners of White Abarrio. Pegasus Stakes coming up, big day for White Abarrio to showcase. Tell me a little bit about your horse, and I know you've been waiting for this opportunity for a while now.
Yeah, we have. We kind of got, lost some months with a deal we had to go through out in the Breeders' Cup with him being scratched, but he's back on track now, and look forward to running him. He had a really good 5/8 breeze here over the last Sunday, and is going to have his final prep for this race this Sunday, and looking forward to run a big effort like he did last year.
Well, you'd be given a lot of credit. He's an older horse, 7 years old. Saffie Joseph Jr., the trainer, has 2 7-year-olds in there with Skip DeLone, and Sue. And you guys have campaigned this horse for quite a while, so you've been fortunate that way, and good for the industry to see this horse. That's why he's built up such popularity.
Yeah, you don't get to see these kind of horses run, this long. Everybody's 3-year-old, 4-year-old year, they're, sending off to studs. So it's kind of nice to get to manage this horse, see the horse progress over his 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old year and mature. And, he's just as sound today as he was when we bought the horse when he was a 2-year-old baby. So there's really no reason to pull him out of training at this point.
I'm here with Junior Alvarado. He's up this year with his horse Sovereignty, potentially the 3-year-old of the year, and who knows, maybe even Horse of the Year. Tell me a little bit about your emotions going into this competition.
Yeah, very excited. I got actually a couple days ago, Bill Mott invited me to go to the Eclipse Awards. He said, he would like me to go there and be there because he thinks, Sovereignty has a good chance to win the Horse of the Year. Of course, I think for the 3-year-old, he should be a cinch there. But, so since pretty excited, so, it will be a big accomplishment, just have been riding, the Horse of the Year,
Last year, you rode so many great horses. I think you probably thought you climaxed until you hit Sovereignty, and now you reached a totally new level.
Yeah, these horses have definitely taken me, to a different level. Winning those Triple Crown races, then winning the Travers and the Summer in Saratoga was something, like you only dream sometimes, and just having been able to have all those in 1 year, it's been incredible. Such a good horse, and hopefully for this year, hopefully he comes back and we can keep making history with him.